You ever get that feel? You know that deadline's coming up, but all of a sudden, like, I don't know, cleaning the bathroom just seems so much more appealing.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there.
Today, we are tackling procrastination head on.
Looking forward to it.
We're going to figure out why we do it. And I've got some really interesting research here. It goes way deeper than just like, make a to-do list and get organized.
I think a lot of people misunderstand procrastination. They think it's about discipline.
Yeah.
When actually, it's an emotional strategy.
Okay, so it's not just me being lazy.
No, not at all.
There's like a deeper reason I would rather, reorganize my entire closet than finish that presentation for work.
Exactly. Think of your brain kind of like a prediction machine.
Okay.
Always scanning for threats, for discomfort.
Uh-huh.
So if it finds a task that triggers those feelings, like a difficult project, or maybe even fear of failure,
Oh, yeah.
it's the brakes.
So rather than deal with those uncomfortable feelings head on, we just kind of, end up like scrolling on our phones for hours or something like that.
Exactly. And you know what helps your brain do this?
What's that?
Dopamine.
Ah, dopamine, of course.
Right. Those little distractions, even if they seem really mundane, they give you that little hit of dopamine.
And that makes us feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that just reinforces that whole procrastination cycle.
So hold on, I'm trying to picture this. It's like my brain is this master manipulator, and it's giving out these dopamine hits every time I choose to alphabetize my spice rack instead of doing something productive.
You got it. It's a pretty accurate picture, I would say.
So are we doomed?
Oh, no.
Is there any hope for us?
It's just like if you know your opponent's moves in a game,
Okay.
you have a better chance of winning.
So that's step one. We've got to know how our brains are working against us. So what are some of those like classic procrastination traps that we all kind of fall into? You mentioned fear of failure.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I think we've all felt that.
It's those thoughts like, what if I'm not good enough?
Oh, yeah. What if I mess this up?
Right. And it just paralyzes you before you even start.
Totally. And then, of course, there's perfectionism.
Oh, yeah.
I know I struggle with that one. It's this voice saying, it can't be perfect, so why even bother starting?
Perfectionism, it's like a procrastination superpower.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's just plain old lack of motivation.
I just don't feel like it, Trap.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But even that can be tied back to those deeper anxieties.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So we've established that procrastination is not about laziness.
Right.
It's this whole web of emotions, fears, and of course that tricky dopamine system.
It really is.
It's like we've got this whole team of saboteurs working against us.
Exactly. But don't worry. In the next part, we're going to figure out how to beat them.
Yes. I cannot wait. Okay, so we're back. And if you missed part one, we're just talking about how procrastination is more than just being lazy. It's like our brains trying to protect us from things that make us uncomfortable.
Right. And we even compared it to, like, a game of chess, remember?
Yeah. Our brains are playing chess, but we don't even know the rules.
Exactly. But just like in chess, if you understand your opponent's strategy...
Oh, you got a better chance of winning. I like that.
Exactly.
I'm ready to, turn the tables on my brain. I'm ready to win this game.
Let's do it.
But where do we even begin? There are so many productivity tips out there, It's overwhelming.
I think it's best to start small.
Okay, yeah.
Pick one thing, one technique that really speaks to you, and just focus on that for, a week or two.
So not a total life makeover, just a little upgrade.
Exactly.
I've heard about this thing called Eat the Frog.
Oh, yeah.
Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, Eat the Frog. That's a great one.
What is that exactly?
It's basically the idea that you tackle the hardest thing on your to-do list first thing in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So you get it out of the way, and then you feel this sense of accomplishment. And that kind of fuels you for the rest of the day.
Okay, I can see that. It sounds a little intimidating, but I can definitely see how getting that big thing done would free up so much mental space.
It's like if you can get over that first big hurdle, the rest of the race seems so much easier.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
And, don't get discouraged if it doesn't work perfectly right away.
Right.
Building new habits takes time. It takes effort.
Yeah. It's so easy to get discouraged and be like, well, I tried that and it didn't work, so I'm just going to give up.
You're going to have those days where procrastination wins, but those are actually really good opportunities to learn.
Okay.
You can adjust your approach.
So it's all about progress, not perfection. Exactly. I can definitely get behind that. But how do you make those new habits stick? You know? What can we do to make these techniques like a regular part of our lives?
One thing that I find really helpful is to identify your triggers.
Triggers.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what are those specific situations or emotions that send you down that procrastination rabbit hole?
Oh, okay. So for me, I think it's when I feel overwhelmed by a project or even just like really bored with a task.
Exactly. Once you know what your triggers are, you can start to come up with strategies to deal with them.
Okay, that makes sense. So like if feeling overwhelmed is a trigger, maybe you break the task down into smaller steps.
Exactly. Or if boredom is the trigger, maybe try to make the task a little more fun.
Right, right. Find a way to make it a little more enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. And another really important thing is to set up your environment.
Your environment, okay?
Yeah, think about where you usually work or study. Is it a place that helps you focus? Or is it full of distractions?
Oh my gosh. My workspace is definitely like a black hole of distractions. I always have my phone nearby, so it's way too easy to get sucked into social media or like online shopping.
That's so common. So make your workspace a sanctuary for focus.
Hmm.
Put your phone in a different room, maybe use one of those website blockers to, block those tempting websites.
Feel what?
You can even get some noise-canceling headphones.
Yeah. So it's all about creating that space where you can really just focus on what you need to get done.
Exactly.
Okay. So triggers, environment, got it. What else?
This next one is kind of fun.
Okay. I like fun.
It's called temptation bundling.
Temptation bundling, what is that?
It's basically pairing something you enjoy with something you've been putting off.
Oh.
So it's like a reward system for yourself.
Okay, so for example, I only allow myself to watch my favorite show while I'm folding laundry.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
Or maybe you listen to your favorite podcast while you're working on that challenging project.
Okay, yeah. So you're making those less fun tasks a little more bearable. I like it.
Exactly.
It's all about finding ways to like motivate yourself. What about visualization? I've heard about that for, achieving goals.
Oh, yeah. Visualization is so powerful.
Does it work for procrastination too?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Spend a few minutes each day picturing yourself working on that task, feeling focused, feeling productive, and then ultimately achieving your goal.
So it's kind of like a mental rehearsal.
Exactly.
You're getting your brain ready for success.
Yes.
That's cool. I'm going to try that. Okay, so we've got temptation bundling, we've got visualization. What about sleep? I mean, we all know that sleep is important, but does it actually affect procrastination?
It really does.
Really?
When you're sleep deprived, your willpower is just shot.
Yeah.
You're way more likely to choose the easy thing, even if it means putting off something important.
So getting enough sleep can actually make you less likely to procrastinate.
Exactly. And for 7 to 8 hours a night.
I know. It's so hard sometimes.
It really makes a difference.
Okay. I'm definitely feeling more ready to tackle procrastination. We've covered so much ground.
We have. We've talked about identifying triggers, setting up your environment, and we even got into temptation bundling and visualization.
And sleep. Don't forget sleep.
Yes, sleep is so important.
I feel like we're building this like awesome procrastination busting toolkit.
That's a great way to put it.
We are. We're getting all the tools we need to finally beat procrastination. Welcome back. So we've spent the last 2 parts of this deep dive, like really getting into the nitty-gritty of procrastination.
Yeah, we've talked about the psychology behind it.
Uh-huh.
We've uncovered some of those sneaky tactics our brains use to keep us from doing the things we need to do.
Totally. And we've even started to build like a procrastination busting toolkit, right?
Exactly.
Filled with all kinds of strategies to help us like outsmart our brains and actually get things done.
And in this final part, we've got even more tools to add to that toolkit.
Bring on the tools. I'm ready.
Okay, so have you ever heard of time boxing?
Time boxing. Not really.
It's a pretty simple technique, actually. But it's really powerful for taking control of your schedule.
Okay. I'm listening. Tell me more.
So basically, you assign specific blocks of time in your day to certain tasks.
Okay.
So instead of just putting something on your to-do list, you actually schedule a time to work on it.
So it's like I'm making an appointment with my tasks.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I can do that.
It helps you be more intentional with your time.
That makes sense.
And it can definitely help reduce procrastination.
Because you've already got it in your schedule.
Right. Like you're less likely to get sidetracked if you already have a plan for how you're going to spend your time.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Any tips for making time boxing like really effective?
Here's a big one. When you're figuring out how long a task will take, overestimate.
Wait, what? Overestimate. I feel like that's just going to give me more time to procrastinate.
I know it sounds a little counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but it's really about building in a buffer.
Oh, okay.
So if you think something's going to take an hour, schedule an hour and a half.
So if things take longer than I expected or if something unexpected comes up, I'm not, like, totally stressed out.
Exactly. It's all about setting realistic expectations and giving yourself some flexibility.
I like it. Okay, what else? What other tools have we got?
All right, let's talk about mindfulness.
Mindfulness. I thought mindfulness was more about, like, meditation and relaxation.
It is, but it can also be super helpful when it comes to procrastination.
Really?
Because procrastination, a lot of times it comes from those negative thoughts and feelings.
No, 100%. Like the fear of failing or feeling overwhelmed. Those are definitely my procrastination triggers.
Right. And mindfulness can help us become more aware of those thoughts and feelings without judging ourselves.
Okay.
So instead of getting completely swept up in those negative thought spirals, you can just observe them.
So it's about acknowledging those feelings, but not letting them control us.
Exactly. It's like you're hitting the pause button on that autopilot mode,
Oh, that's good.
and you're taking back control.
So it's like building a muscle, like a mental muscle.
Yes, exactly. A muscle of self-awareness and self-regulation.
I love that. Okay, so we've got time boxing, mindfulness. Anything else we should add to our toolkit?
We can't forget about self-care.
Self-care. I feel like that gets thrown around a lot, but how does that actually relate to procrastination?
Well, think about it. When you're feeling burned out, stressed, overwhelmed, it's so much harder to resist procrastination.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
When I'm exhausted, everything feels like a chore.
exactly. So you've got to make self-care a priority.
Okay.
Make sure you're getting enough sleep,
Yes.
eat healthy foods,
Uh-huh.
do things that make you happy.
Yeah, it's like recharging your batteries so you can actually face those tasks.
Precisely.
Okay, so it sounds like the key takeaway here is that there's no one-size-fits-all solution to procrastination.
Exactly. Everyone's different. What works for me might not work for you.
Right.
So you got to experiment. You got to find what works for you.
And be kind to ourselves along the way.
Absolutely. Remember, progress, not perfection. That's the goal.
I love that. It takes the pressure off. This has been such a helpful deep dive. We've learned so much about why we procrastinate, and we've got all these awesome strategies to help us, actually break free from it.
It's all about finding what works for you
Exactly.
and building those new habits.
We hope you feel inspired to, tackle those tasks you've been putting off.
You got this.
And remember, the journey to conquering procrastination, it's ongoing.
It is.
But you've got the power to change. You can unlock your full potential.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.